Welcome back to Wiseman Company, fellas. Ben here, and today we're going to take a look at this little Glock 48 project I've done. Why the Glock 48? Well, a few reasons. I needed a backup gun for reasons I will not go into, but I needed a backup gun. I needed it to be small. I wanted it to fit in a fanny pack. I like the aesthetics of the Glock 48, so it just made a lot of sense for me. I found one for a good price, so I picked it up. Why not a 43X instead of the Glock 48? I wanted the longer barrel length because typically I like to port stuff. This gives me a little bit more real estate if I want to port this gun. I see a lot of companies doing like a chunk port at the end of these, but you can also go with multiple holes on the barrel. Just a little bit more barrel length gives me a little bit more real estate. So might send this off to Mac Defense in the future, not sure yet. Just wanted to start with some simple modifications, and I wanted to share those modifications with you, so let's get started. Let's start with sights. As you know, Glock sights aren't the greatest. They're plastic. You can't call them iron sights because they're made of plastic. They are basically just a placeholder. So I got rid of them, and I put on this EPS carry. I have a full review on this dot if you want to check that out. Underneath the EPS carry is the calculated kinetics plate. These are really good plates. They make installing it very easy. They're very thorough in their installation, and it's a high quality plate. The MOS system is known for being kind of a weak point in the Glock line, and so I opted for a much better made plate. And the calculated kinetics plate has not let me down at all. They have a bunch of them on their website. This one is obviously for the EPS carry, and it has been great so far. For those of you that will ask or demand that I put on backup iron sights, I'm not going to. They are literally a false sense of security. They take up what little window I have, and I'm never going to use them if my dot goes down in the heat of the moment. I'm going to shoot with the window of the EPS and do what I can. But luckily, so far, the EPS carry has been pretty reliable. Time will tell. Hollow Suns don't have a long shelf life if you are a high round count shooter. All right, let's take a look at the frame. And some of you have probably already noticed some weird things about the frame, what I've done to it. I put on some Talon grips, and I like Talon grips. They're inexpensive. They're easy to put on. They last a long time. And if they do wear out, you can just simply take the old ones off and put new ones on. The Talon grips, though, I cut off the left side because this is the side that touches my body. I have the sandpaper style Talon grips, and it's very good texture, and that's what I want. I want some really rough, aggressive texture, but I don't want that rough, aggressive texture on my soft belly. So I cut off the left-hand side, and I basically just have a wrap around the majority of the grip, except for this part right here, which doesn't matter too much because with a grip like the 48, I don't get much real estate in here to put my hand on anyway. So having a bunch of texture in here doesn't matter too much. When we're talking about the frame, there's two other major things that I did, and this actually adds the most grip or the most ergonomics. I added texture down here with a soldering iron or a wood burning tool, so I stippled it, as you can see here, and it made it very aggressive. This is a great point of contact to add texture on any handgun. Why? Because when I grip here and I roll this hand on, I can really get a good bite on the frame of the handgun. The other major component that I added for the grip or frame is this magwell. Not so much for speed reloads or ease of reloading, it does do that, but a magwell like this from Shield Arms squeezes my hand up into the grip, and it just gives a nice little bump down here so everything is snug on this smaller frame. It adds a lot of ergonomics, and it just lets me bite down on the gun a lot more since I have this kind of hand stop here at the bottom, which is just a magwell. It's not much, but it's a lot when we're talking about a small frame like this. Next, let's talk about the trigger. And this is one component that I added that has given me a little bit of trouble. This is the Apex Tactical Polymer Flat Face Trigger for the Glock 48 and Glock 43X. It has improved the trigger greatly as far as feel. It's a smoother trigger, nice, easy, much easier take up. I like a flat face trigger over a curved trigger, but I have had it malfunction maybe 3 or 4 times. And I can't duplicate it. I'm not sure what happened, but the trigger won't reset. And it's happened always on the 3rd or 4th round in the magazine. So I'm not sure what's going on. I haven't had it happen lately. Maybe it's just a little bit of a break-in period. Again, I haven't been able to duplicate it. Maybe it was just ammo related. I'm not sure. But again, that's a risk we take whenever we're altering the original design of a gun, particularly Glocks. We start messing around with the internals and you start kind of messing with the reliability of the platform. So I kind of expected something like that to happen. I'm not too worried because again, it hasn't creeped up lately and it's kind of an anomaly. But if that continues to happen, I'm going to take this out and drop the stock trigger back in. I'd rather have a reliable gun instead of just a better trigger in a not so reliable gun, if that makes sense. So trigger, Apex Tactical. I've always had a very good history with Apex. I've used a lot of their stuff and it has worked as advertised. This is the first time it's kind of been giving me some question marks. So something to keep an eye on. Leave me a comment down below if you guys have had any issues with this particular trigger as well. Some of you are going to notice immediately, because you're big Shield Arms fans, that I have not swapped out the mag release to an aluminum mag release to run the Shield magazines. The Shield magazines give me 15 rounds instead of the stock 10 rounds in the OEM magazines. I will be running stock magazines, OEM magazines. Glock mags are really reliable. I don't want to mess with them if I don't have to. This gun is meant to be small, compact, carry 10 rounds. If I want to carry 15 rounds, I'm just going to use a Glock 19 or a Glock 45 if I want 17 rounds. That's what I carry the majority of the time. I don't want to sacrifice reliability for more rounds in this particular platform. It's small. I use it for small spaces, and that's how I'm gonna keep it. I'm not going to add the Shield Arms magazines. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on those magazines. Some are good, some are bad. Gen 3, fix the issues, this, that, the other, and I'm just, again, not willing to gamble. I'll just stick with factory Glock mags. Factory Glock mags are some of the best magazines ever made for any gun. The OEM mags are going to be riding in this gun for the foreseeable future. Holster for this little project. This is a traditional arms holster. It is their jab, I believe. And if you want to save some money from traditional arms, use the code WISEMEN, all capital letters. Should save you 10%. This is a Florida company. He makes great quality holsters. I like the metal clips on mine. They can be a little bit of a bear to get on and off your belt, but they are very rigid and they hold everything in place nicely. You can see a little bit of a wing here on the side. Very comfortable holster, good retention. Get that pop and click when you insert the gun. I like that. I like that peace of mind. All right, so that's the G48 project, guys. Just wanted to keep it simple. I didn't want to have to send it out for retexturing or milling or cuts or anything like that. It's a backup gun. Just wanted to add some cheap, inexpensive parts to it to help with ergonomics and function, just shoot it a little bit better. It is a small gun. With small guns, they can be kind of challenging to shoot. This is by no means a replacement for a Glock 19, a Glock 26, a Glock 45, any full-size Glock. I shoot those infinitely better. And if I'm out and about, more than likely I'll be carrying a compact to full-size handgun over a Glock 48. This just needs to fill a small role, and so far it is doing that nicely. Guys, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all the support. And if you want to support us further, go to wisemancompany.com. We have a lot of great gear over there. It supports us directly. It's high quality goods. We ship quickly. wisemancompany.com. We'll see you on the next video.